There's a full screen. Why is it half screen here?
Can't stop now. It's do or die. Feel the beat, feel the beat. Oh, on repeat, on repeat.
What's going on here, Rohit? Why is my visual is going away?
Dance all night, move your feet. Ooh yeah, feel the beat, feel the
Can you make it full screen? Yeah, I don't see somehow that.
Hearts collide.
Hello, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to this another Tokenize with Mahesh show. Looks like we are getting started. People are joining. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to the show, Sarthak, Rohit, Pravesh, Gaurav. Welcome to the show. I'm adjusting my devices here. I see echo. Is that Rohit you? From your side coming, can you mute? Rohit? Okay.
I'm gonna mute, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right. Testing. This is better. Okay, everyone, welcome to the show. How do I see echo? I'm getting echo here. See. Rohit, can you hear me? Okay, got it. This is me here. Let me see. Testing. Okay, all right. We are back. All right, everyone, welcome to the show. Today, we are going to talk about tokenomics. Everything about tokenomics. And as you can see, oops, my slide is messed up here, looks like. Tokenomics 101. Today is our 7th episode. Welcome back to the show, everybody. And today we are going to talk about tokenomics. As you know, this show is all about tokenization. And tokenization really means is the crypto tokenization. This is our 7th episode, and today everything is all about tokenomics. And the purpose of this show is within 20 minutes or so, we will talk about how to build this, your tokenomics, so it's successful. End of the day, tokenomics matters. That's probably the most important part of any token launch. So, what is tokenomics? When you think of tokenomics is how it's economic design of your token that explains how a token is created, distributed, how it's going to be used on a platform or multiple platforms, how it's earned by different people, how they can spend. In other words, how the value of the token flows within the ecosystem. Most tokens fail because of this, that their tokenomics is designed, the way it's designed is focuses on price speculation, means how to grow the price of the token rather than what are the real uses, what are the incentives, and what is the long-term demand of that token. So when you are designing this tokenomics, you have to first thing you have to ask yourself is why should anybody buy, hold, use, or want to earn this token? Even not now, even 5 years from now, why should somebody be holding this token? So that's the question. Why should be somebody be buying? These are the things you have to ask. The first thing that matters in tokenomics is the token supply and distribution. token supply includes what is the total supply and circulating supply. So total supply is something how much supply means it's like how many tokens are total in the ecosystem. So if you're launching a token, you have to look at, even you go to some tokens, for example, Bitcoin, it has only 21 million tokens ever to be created. That's total supply. Now some tokens you will go and see they have infinite supply. It means there is no cap, there's no max cap there. That means it can keep creating until forever. So you have to pay attention to that. And also, what is circulating supply? Circulating supply is how much tokens are being circulated in market right now. Means people are using. The distribution matters a lot because that's how decide that how the token is being distributed, how in people are earning it, how it's being rewarded in incentives, how they are using the token. End of the day, the successful tokenomics where people want to buy or earn the token, they want to hold for longer term, they also want to use the token and circulate, keep going in the economy, right? This is how, if you build an ecosystem, for example, even in general, like if there's a dollar, if people don't use the dollar, they just have the dollar, they don't use it, it's not in circulation, it's not a good economy is when not only people want to acquire, maybe hold for long term, but also within that they start want to use the token. So you have to look for healthy versus risky distribution, and healthy distribution, as I mentioned, is the one that is doesn't just focus on speculation and short-term gains, but how in long term people want to hold and use, even buy, spend, burn, all those things matter. So you have to think about when you're building the distribution is this is how the token is being moved from one wallet to other wallet. Why would people want to spend it? Why people want to buy it? Those are the things they matter when you're designing your tokenomics. We have to also look at the utility and demand, right? Utility creates demand, means more. If you have a token, for example Ethereum, let's take an example Ethereum. Why people want to buy Ethereum? Well, one is investors want to buy, they think that the value of the Ethereum will grow over time, so they want to make money from it. It's like stocks. People, why do people buy stock? They buy stocks. If I'm buying a Nvidia stock or Microsoft stock, investment purposes, what I think is the value of these companies will grow over time. Same thing with the tokens. One is somebody's buying the token for that purpose. The second, people who want to buy a token is because they can use the token on the platform. For example, Ethereum. If you want to build a smart contract on Ethereum or Ethereum based chains, you need Ether to spend. Every time you deploy a smart contract, you need to pay gas fees. That's in Ether. So that's a utility. And the demand grows based on the more utilities, and right, more applications are creating on Ethereum, more Ether will be bought, people will be spending Ether, and the Ethereum ecosystem will be earning that back as a gas fees. Same thing applies like payment, access, rewards, governance, discounts, staking. All these are different mechanism for a utility of a token. For example, we can create a governance feature of a token that if somebody owns more than a million token, they can vote on certain things. That's a utility. Now, there are some tokens, they create fake utilities, and that doesn't, maybe short term it creates hype, but in long term it doesn't sustain. So you have to think about when you're creating utility is is it being used, the token being used inside a in a platform for a certain features, accessing certain product services. What is if somebody is earning it, what they can do with it. So those are the things you have to keep in mind. Is another thing when you are designing tokenomics is you have to think about different incentives. In other words, if people are doing right things on the platform. For example, Sharp economy and Sharp token, we have something called learning. You can learn to earn. There can be a platform and token where you're rewarding people for building. There are tokens, there are chains, they reward people, developers, to build the platform, contribute to the platform. So you have to think about incentives. You have to think about same thing with rewards, and you have to make sure the rewards are sustainable and they tie to the real usage. Sometimes you can create a token that can also tie to revenue. Now that falls in a different category, which we will discuss in upcoming shows. You have to also think, and this does not apply to any all the tokens. You have to think about inflation versus sustainability, right? Hard rewards with no real demand equals inflation. So you can give a lot of people rewards, but there's no demand. That means now it's a problem, right? Inflation. It's like U.S. government printing all these dollars that will create inflation. Then other thing you need to think about is burns. Token burn is a way to reduce the supply of the token, and you can create a mechanism that, oh, on certain things we will burn these tokens. For example, Binance chain has this, not only Binance chain, a lot of chains have this mechanism where they earn fees, gas fees, and they say we are earning gas fees and this percentage of this gas fees will be burned. That means they are taking those tokens from their whatever the treasury account or wherever they hold that, and they burn those tokens. And burning really means that the tokens are being removed from the tokenomics. So say if I burn 1,000 tokens, those now that means there's less tokens available in the market. So when you think of a token from a developer or even investor perspective, or let's say you want to use a chain or whatever, you are evaluating a token, how do you evaluate that this tokenomics is good? So the way you think it, these five items here, and you can easily spend 5 minutes and say, you know what, this is the tokenomics I like, this is the token I like. So first thing you started, who earns token and why? So if there is a token, why somebody wants to earn that token, and why even somebody wants to buy a token, why? For example, Ethereum, you can earn the token by mining, or you can buy the token. So if you are a product owner and you are not mining and you want to use Ethereum for smart or storing or doing something with the smart contracts or anything you want to do in cloud platform, you need to buy Ethereum Ether. The second thing you need to think about is who needs the token and when. That's very important, right? So it's just not like earning and why. Second is who needs it, because if you can't just keep earning, you also have to find the buyer. Somebody needs the token, so you can then sell them. The third thing you have to think about is what creates the long-term demand of that token. And I'm not a big fan of tokens that has infinite supply, because you just don't know. Um, Even though team has these governance, but end of the day, it's really hard to know. So you need to think about what creates long-term demand. For example, in Sharp, I'll take an example of Sharp economy and Sharp token in the next slide. And then think about how supply is released over time. Means if you have, say, 1 billion tokens, max supply, total supply is 1 billion. How is it released? Is it released 10% a year? Is it released a small percentage? Is it released based on the uses? Is it released based on the number of users or number of so those things matter, because this can make and break a token value. As a user, you don't really care. For example, if you're using Polygon chain and I have X number of tokens I'm using as a gas fees, price really doesn't matter to me. Or maybe it does in long term. But if you're an investor, then it matters a lot. So you need to think about how and when these tokens are being released over time. And then last thing you need to ask is what happens if growth slows down? If users stop using the platform or slows down, what will happen? Will it going to drop the token value? So these things all matter when you're designing a tokenomics, because tokenomics is not just for the users, it's also for the investor, it's also for the partners, it's also for the team. So when a crypto company is created, when a crypto company is created, the tokens are think of them as like your shares or your stocks, because you can give tokens to the team, people who are working, contributing. You can sell some treasury, you can sell some tokens to pay the salaries for developers in the marketing. You can spend token with the partnerships. So value of the token matters, right? And the two goal here with the creating the sustainable tokenomics is how to create a tokenomics where it is not only good for the users and partners, but also for the investors. They all work together. If one of them fails, the token fails. Hopefully, you're learning something today. Everybody looks like we have a lot of people joined. Welcome to the show. This is a C sharp corners tokenize with Mahesh show. We do this show every Tuesday, and we talk about tokenomics. Today we are talking about tokenomics, but this is all about cryptocurrencies. How to launch. End of the day, we will learn how to launch your token successfully, and what not to do and what to do. What are the you know steps you can take to successfully launch your token. So if you have questions, we do take questions in this show. Ask your questions, post your questions. In few minutes, I'll take your questions. Remember, this show is for you every Tuesday, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So today, so far, we learned about just quickly go through what is tokenomics, how the token supply and distribution matters, what is utility versus demand, what incentives, rewards, and burns you can keep in mind when you're designing a tokenomics, and how to evaluate a token in 5 minutes. Now, let's take an example. So we have there is a token, Sharp token. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to thesharptoken.com or sharpeconomy.org. So this is a tokenomics. This is an example of real world token where there are total 100 billion of tokens created, right? And these tokens will be released over 15 years of the time. So they're not released all once. But if you look at the breakdown here, 34% of these tokens are community rewards, means community people, the members who are participating in this economy, are going to earn these tokens. Only 18% of the tokens are for founders and team, developer team in the company. That's very small amount. Again, 11.5% is treasury, 10% is for partners, 10% is pre-sale. So only 10% is for pre-sale. That means you sell these tokens in the beginning to get some money to get this project going. 7.5% for marketing, 5% public sale, 4% board advisor. So if you look at the big picture here, besides only 15% are for the sale, 18% are for the company and the team, but everything else is all around the token growth. So that's kind of a very fair, I would call it fair tokenomics. And the tokenomics depends on what kind of project you have, what kind of partnership in the ecosystem you are building. That depends. But this is just an example. Here's another example. So think about this, how this Sharp token is used. Here's an example. So the purpose of Sharp token and Sharp economy is that it's designed for communities who wants to reward their users for their contributions and participation. Think about it. The Sharp token and Sharp economy is designed for communities who want to reward their users and members for contributions and participations. So one of the example, let's take C Sharp Corner. C Sharp Corner is a community of software developers. So what we want to do is everybody on C Sharp Corner who is writing an article, speaking, hosting shows, publishing videos, answering forum questions, publishing their ebooks. It's a community, it's a free, right? So you're working on that, you're contributing to the community. Now you're going to earn these tokens. That's one part for the contributions. Second part is learn to earn. You can also learn things. You can learn and then you can earn these tokens. Once you earn these tokens, you can spend these tokens on your growth. For example, you need a certification, you need a mentorship, you need an internship, you need a job. You can now use the tokens on your growth. If you want to test, there is Sharp Rewards app. It's an app both Apple and Google stores. Check out the Sharp Rewards app. In this app, it's for anybody where people can learn to earn, means they can learn new things, and it's not all technical, it's not programming. You can learn different things. You can learn about financial literacy, you can learn about sports, you can learn about general topics, you can learn about blockchain, cryptocurrency. It depends on your interest, right? You can learn different things. You can participate in quests. You can stay healthy and learn about health and walking and burning calories and all that. The point here is that this is an application that uses tokens to reward and incentivize you. Just we just talked about incentives in earlier screen. So it's incentive for people to learn more, participate, and contribute. So that's how you have to think. So in case of Sharp Economy, what our goal is to build a platform where not only just C Sharp Corner or Sharp Reward, but there's multiple other communities in coming time are going to use the token. So that's how you think about when you think of building a sustainable tokenomics. So with that said, we will take some questions after that. And but before that, I want to talk about next week. Next week we are going to talk about how to launch your own token step by step. That next week probably going to be a longer show where I will share my knowledge and how, if you want to launch and learn how to launch your token, it'll be less technical, more about discussions around the steps you will need. So, with that said, let's take some questions. And I hope you learned something. I will take some questions from people. If anybody has a question, if no questions, no worries. We'll take one question from Gaurav. If tokenomics is done smartly, could it be a cause of a token fail, or token fail depends on other factors as well? Yeah, so token fail can be token. When you think of a token, it's not just a token, it's more about the company, right? You can be a company. Think you have to compare a business. Like if a company launches, I don't know, let's say a new company start, it's a car company, and that company can fail for multiple reasons, right? Company can fail because of the team, because of the funding, because of the marketing, different way product is bad, all those things happen. So tokenomics is just to ensure that the token economy is designed that way so it's sustainable. But if token is not used by anybody, it's going to fail. If token teams stop building product, it's going to fail. If the product is taking forever to deliver and customers and users are not happy with it, it's going to fail. There's a million ways, I shouldn't say million, there's 100 ways to fail any company. So when you think of a token never, it's not token failing. Token doesn't fail. The business fails. The companies who are using the token can fail, right? So if there's nobody using the token, or the product is bad that people use the token and they just leave, that will fail. It's token, so it depends on the usability. So you think about, like, you are starting a new, I don't know, you start a new retail shop where you are selling t-shirts, and you say, okay, the idea is good, this is sustainable, price is good, everything is good, but if no customers coming because you didn't do marketing and nobody knows about the shop, your business will fail. So this is like any other business. That's how we have to think. There's no magic here. Some people think that, okay, let's create a token, launch a meme, make some noise, and make some money. Sure, some people are scamming other people and a lot of people losing money in that, but that's not a sustainable tokenomics. That's not a sustainable token launch. That's just a short term. And there's, if I don't know if you guys saw, but every in last year or so, there's so many meme tokens launched. There's so many hype tokens launched, but then they go up and then they all fail because there's no sustainable tokenomics behind that. So purpose of this show was, if you are building and launching a token, how do you build a sustainable tokenomics where more people contribute in the growth of the token? With that said, we will close our show today. This was good. We next show again same time on Tuesday 11 a.m. Eastern. We are going to have a little longer show next time where we will talk about how to launch your own token. What are the different steps a founder should take before they launch a token? With that said, thank you everybody for joining, and I'll see you next week. Let me play music.
Rohan didn't change his routine, just added one habit. Amit walks every day for work, but today, every step earns him rewards.
For Meena, mornings are busy, but she never misses her quiz.
They didn't change their life, just added Sharp Economy to it. Download the Sharp Reward app now.
Spinning fast, enjoy the ride.
Thank you.
Sweat